tonight we are talking about facts versus feelings. When you feel something and you decide right away what that means. We're going to talk all about that tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Is it Siobhan? Welcome in. Tonight we are talking about facts versus feelings. We'll get started in just a minute, but a lot of people get this part confused. And what I want to talk to you guys really about is the part that we need to slow down about right before we make decisions. There's this pause because we feel it later, but we always end up still reacting on it. So we're going to talk all about that. Evans, welcome in. Kenzie, one day at a time, welcome in. Stars, welcome in. Robin, welcome in. Mary, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Mr. Bathroom, welcome in. Linda. Tanya, Toxic. Welcome, Carrie. What's up? My poop is just fine today. Thank you, Mr. Bathroom. Actually, if you have diarrhea, that's a whole other topic and how that relates to your gut and your emotions. And man, I could nerd out on that. Thank you, Carrie, for the heart me. I am good. I am good. Mondays are always busy for me, but I'm good. Welcome in, everybody. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Tonight we are talking about facts versus feelings. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Amber McCrae, and I help women learn how to close the gap from what they know to doing it. Because we know all the things, but knowing and doing are very different. And so I help you close that gap from going to knowing what to do to actually living it and doing it. Tina, welcome in. If you are new here, put a 1 in the chat so we can give you a shout out. Thank you for being here. If you have questions, you could throw them in the chat. We meet every Monday here live, 4 p.m. Pacific, and then right after is the Sacred Middle for women who, like I said, are ready to go from just knowing to living. So they are ready to put all the knowledge that they have into actual action and live the life that they are actually wanting to live. You can know all the things. You can go to all the therapy, you could take all the courses, read all the books, do all the meditations, do all the journaling, and still not make the decision in the moment that keeps you stuck. Hope prevails. Welcome in. Tonight we are going to unpack facts versus feelings. Carmen, welcome in. Molly, welcome in. Just trust no one. Welcome in, lovely. How are you? John, welcome in. We'll get started in just a moment, but tonight we are going to talk about facts versus feelings and the moment that really counts in all of this. How are you, lovely? I'm here every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific. Look at this little espresso mug. Look at how cute this is. My sister-in-law got this for me. Oh, how did that happen? Hi, Mom. I don't know how we did that.
That's hilarious. I don't know. I was looking for you, and then I saw an invite, and I clicked it. I didn't realize it was like a box invite.
Oh, shoot. I need to be careful of that. I'm not sure how that happened either. All right, I'll see
You
if I
might get a
can...
stranger in there.
right.
A stranger
I'll
danger.
see how I can kick you out.
Kick
Thanks,
me out of
Mom.
here.
Hi.
Goodbye.
Your guess is as good as mine, Tara. We're not really sure how that happened. Now I have to figure out how to... I haven't had boxes in forever. Da, 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 da. I need to figure out how to... Oh, yeah. There we go. Thank you for the heart, me lovely. I don't know, maybe too because you're a moderator that happened. I'm not really sure. Thank you for the hot me, Miss Tara. I know, Mom just showed up. I was like, oh, hi. It made me realize how long it's been since I've had boxes. Welcome in, everybody. Tonight we are talking about facts versus feelings. Thank you, Holly, for the hot me. You didn't? That's so weird. I'm not really sure. Summer, welcome in. Holly, Tara, does my live come up on your... come up for you? I'm just curious. Thank you, Carrie, for sharing it out, everybody. It didn't tonight, but typically, yes. I don't know. Carrie, did it pop up for you? Or did you just come on over because you knew it was Monday? Gretchen, welcome in. Oh, okay, it popped up on your... You got an invite. Oh, okay, that's because I copied it out. Interesting. My life is mostly misunderstanding anyway. That's funny. Funny, not funny. All right, guys. Welcome. Tonight we are talking about facts versus feelings. Oh, let me make sure I'm on the right internet. All right, we're good. Oh, good. I'm glad it's not just I think all electronics. My computer was acting up today. I don't know. We're going with it. But every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, we talk about a different topic. Next Monday, we will not have a live, but we will continue the next week. And we are talking about repairing too quickly. So that's what the next TikTok live will be on, and that is the 11th. Trying to repair too quickly. So that'll be a really good one. Those videos will come out next week, so we'll start talking about it. You can always go to my page. The week prior of Monday's live is always about the upcoming topic. Yeah, it's a really, really good one, and a lot of misconceptions about that one too. But and then every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m., we have the Sacred Middle for women who are ready to live what they have learned. You guys are amazing. You've learned so much. You have the language, you've done the journaling, you've done all the therapies, and now you are ready to put that into practice and in real time, learning how to apply that, integrate it into your life, not just talking about it, but doing it and seeing the results from putting it into practice. Thank you, Carrie. So tonight we are talking about facts versus feelings. Does anybody have questions before we start? If you're new here, put a 1 in the chat so we could shout you out. Thank you for being here. Let me bring back up my notes. Okay. Sarah, welcome in. Spicy Poe, welcome in. So, just a first kind of overall fact versus feelings, okay? Because when we hear these words, they hit our body differently. And for each person, they can have their own like little understanding of what their truth for them or how they learned them or programmed around that. So we're just going to kind of get a baseline. What if a person is not good at recognizing their feelings? That is a really good one. Okay, so I'll get to that. Let me give kind of like the definition of facts versus feelings, and we'll go straight to that question, Carrie. Thank you. So we're going to go with feeling first. A feeling is something that you feel internally, okay? Is internal inside your body. We often think of as a feeling as more a thought, but it is how it hits your body. It's what happens inside of your body, okay? And a fact is what happened as a whole, like what actually happened versus how it hit your body, okay? The issue comes into play is when we treat that feeling as an overall fact. And really quick, I'll give an example, right? So it gets sticky and a clusterfuck when we turn those feelings into truth and we make them mean something other than what actually happened. Okay? Example. Somebody said something to me and it felt like disrespect. I felt disrespected. Does that actually mean that they disrespected me? I don't know that in this moment, right? Because I haven't asked clarifying questions or anything like that. I just know that I felt disrespected. And this is the part, right? This is the pause. What am I feeling? My hands are shaky. I feel like I'm getting hot and tense, and my chest is starting to beat really fast, and the thoughts are coming really fast. So I feel disrespected. Do you see what I'm saying? That is what my body is feeling. So it is associated the feeling of being disrespected with those feelings, with the somatic feelings of your body. Okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that they disrespected me. But I've immediately put, because I felt disrespected, that the truth is they disrespected me. Okay, we're kind of just focusing for a moment on ourselves. That is the part we're slowing down and getting curious about first, before we skip over all of that and we go to what they actually did, what actually was happening, okay? We need to pause, notice what is happening to us, and even just saying, I feel disrespected. Okay, that can give you an indication that something is happening to your body, and to get curious. Okay, so that's the first part of it. Then, after we get curious about what is happening to us, because that's the really big part, okay? That is the really, really, really big part. Why? Because if we skip over this part, we are abandoning ourselves. And this is why I'm here. This is what I want to help you stop doing. Stop abandoning yourself. To slow down in this moment. What is happening to me? And get curious first. Okay? Then we can deal with the facts. Are you guys with me? Can I get a 1 in the chat? Okay. If I missed something, my mods got me, they got you. So if a question does not get answered, please just put it back in the chat, and so that we can talk about it, the mods can pin it, okay? So this kind of goes with Carrie's question. What if somebody is not good with identifying their feelings? I think was the question. Let's double check. Why guess when we can know? If I can find it. What if a person is not good at recognizing their feelings? Yep. Okay. Cuckoo Machu. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. This is where we go too fast. And this is why I'm here to remind you to slow the fuck down. Okay? And to sometimes for some people, it's easier to recognize what's happening to their body versus what they're feeling, which is kind of the same thing. Okay, they go hand in hand. Welcome in, everybody. Slowing down. That is the first thing. Recognizing your feelings is a muscle as well. Because what happens, okay, all of us are on autopilot. Our programming, even if you've been on a healing journey, y'all, I've been on a healing journey for 10 years or more or something. Autopilot does not go away. Okay? It just is a default programming that we always have to be aware of. Does it get easier and does it slow down? Yes, but when life hits and you get tired or things like that, your default literally goes back there, okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat that and say that you can change something and it's never going to go back. That's just not how from my personal and professional experience, not that way. Does it get easier? Is it easier to recognize and easier to shift? Absolutely. It can get there, okay? But just to recognize that you have been running on autopilot probably since you were a child. Okay, so if you think how old you are, that system has been running in you in the background without you even knowing it. Your subconscious is on autopilot for probably 30, 60 years. Okay? So, in order to catch before that autopilot, before that automatic reaction happens, is going to take time. It is a muscle that we are building. Okay, this is why I will be a broken record. You hear me talk about it all the time. Slow down, practice the pause. We're building a muscle, and it can be frustrating as fuck, especially for people who are go-getters and are like, I just want to do this, I just want to get through this, or all of that, right? Because slowing down can feel like you want to crawl out of your skin. I hear you. I get it. I'm with you. Okay? Having places and people that remind you to slow down, that point out those moments, or just closing the gap. The gap, you are never going to eradicate that, okay? But we can close that gap. What I mean by that is you can begin to recognize the moments sooner and sooner and sooner. And then eventually, before the autopilot response happens, okay? So back to Carrie's, what happens if people are not good with recognizing their feelings? Practicing seeing it. Fuck, I'm triggered, right? My body changed. Anytime something shifts in you, recognize it. And it's going to be probably after it happens, right? Let's take, I yelled at my kid, right? And then 15 minutes later, I slow down and I'm like, fuck, that didn't feel good. I yelled at my kid again. That's the moment you get curious. So the moment that you recognize it, get curious. What was I feeling in that moment? Well, my body was, there was so much going on in my head. I felt overstimulated. I felt like I had to just make everything go away. My throat was tight. My chest was tight. My shoulders were clenched. Like, begin to recognize what happened in those moments. Okay? That's how it starts. That's how you learn a new language, how you learn something. It's going to be, when you're first starting, it's going to be after the fact. Okay? Then, the longer you do that, the more you get in tune and understand your feelings. Okay? Oftentimes, too, it goes back to, okay, what happens is our body, we feel it, okay? So it has a physical reaction. The reason it does that is because your body remembers sometime in your past that you felt something similar, and it brings that back to today. Okay, so it's actually, we're not even reacting to the current situation. Again, because this is where feelings, it's not the fact, right? We don't know if it's the fact. Our body feels something similar, and it took you back to what it triggered of a feeling from before about something different. And so what we do is we take what happened then and we throw it into this situation and we make it mean something. On the same page, Tara, I got you. And this is how it gets kind of convoluted, right? This is how we get big clusterfucks, and we have a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of times where we're not able to have conversations and to talk about both sides, because when we talk about someone's truth, okay, everybody has their own truth, right? So your feelings are valid and they matter. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is what is happening now. It may not be what's truly happening right now. But we take, because our body recognizes the sensation that is happening and it connects it to something from our past, pulls that information forward that this feeling is programmed to, and puts it into this situation. Example, we're going to go with that disrespected, okay? There was a time in my past, I have to try to make something up. There was a time in my past where a girl said, you know what, the outfit you're wearing is fucking ugly and you shouldn't wear that, you're stupid. Okay? That feeling of being disrespected, right? That hit my body. That sensation came with me into this situation where my friend said, where did you get that shirt? Okay, and I immediately made that mean that she is judging my outfit and does not like it and is looking down on me. I felt disrespected. Was I disrespected in this current moment when my friend said, where did you get that shirt? No, probably not. She's asking about my shirt, but because I took the meaning of my outfit being judged prior and pulled it into this situation, that's what I was reacting to. Do you see how facts versus feelings can get mixed up and how it can create a clusterfuck? Are you guys with me? Welcome and hello, everybody. Do people want truth or emotional proof that they were right? I would say it probably depends, and probably maybe both. What's up, Jared? So, do people want truth? So, there's a lot of things that happen, okay? One, like Carrie said, if you can't recognize what is actually happening for you, it's going to be really hard for you to communicate and convey what is going on for you, and you're going to lash out at that person. And that person is going to be probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why are you mad? Right? So it depends on the dynamics of the connection. If you are able to, which most people here are able to say, hey, something happened to me. Let me take a minute to kind of get curious about what the fuck is going on. I'm going to step away from the conversation. I'll get back to you. Okay? This is the time where we get to reflect. And then we can go back and we can hopefully communicate if it is a safe connection. Like, man, that I got triggered as fuck. I felt like you were judging me because you asked about my shirt. Were you judging me about my shirt, or were you genuinely curious about where I got it? You can ask questions. What did you mean by, hey, where did you get your shirt? A lot of times it's really hard for people to ask questions also. I mean, yeah, but this is not real. This is more about understanding our feelings versus the facts. So understanding, being able to separate the fact from the feeling. Are you guys with me? Is this making sense? Are you being able to see the moment that it shifts? Yeah, I find it hard to feel safe enough to get curious. So this is a great point, Carrie. because most of us try to stay in the conversation, and we're going to talk about this the week after next, repairing too fast. It is hard for us to step away from the conversation to get curious. We try to either push through it, avoid it, shut it down, whatever. We have to create breathing room, space to get curious. When you see it happening, hey, you know what? I need to go. I'll give you a call back. I just need to do a few things. I just need some. You can say whatever the fuck you want. People don't have to you don't have to give a reason why you're leaving. You know what? Shit, I just realized I gotta call you back. Create breathing room for yourself. If it's somebody that you feel safe enough, hey, I just got triggered. I'm gonna get curious about what is going on for me. I'll get back to you. Is that maybe gonna be hard for the other person? Yeah, because we all want to fix it and stay connected. But that's something that they got to work on. Okay? Are you with me? Okay, copy that. Do you guys have any questions about this so far? Welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, awesome. Thank you for joining us. We have these conversations every Monday, 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific, and then 5 to 7 for those women who are ready to, they know all the things and they're ready to start practicing it in real life. That's my response to those situations. Oh, I gotta process this all today. So copy that. Yeah, that's such a good response. Exactly. And usually for me, I'm super honest, right? I'm like, hey, this hit hard. Something hit. I got triggered. Let me get back to you. I need to take some space. There are other people who are not safe to do that. And I'm like, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom because sometimes we are with the person, right? And it's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be perfect. We say fuck perfect here, where it's not about perfect. It's about becoming able to recognize these moments sooner and sooner and closing that gap from going to sleep at night and man, I fucking made that same decision. The goal is to make that less and less. Okay? And also, if you're not sure, this is why asking questions is so fucking huge. And there's a lot, the generations before me have hold on. Let me slow the fuck down. Prior generations to me, a lot of people have a really, really tough time asking questions. You were not allowed to ask questions, and that has carried over. For one, you don't ask questions. Two, you may not feel like people are allowed to ask you questions. And when people do, it feels disrespectful. So what if the facts are different from everyone involved? Few things. One is that depending again who it is with, right? When I say safe, I mean emotionally safe, that you can be honest and you don't have to mask, you don't have to like walk on eggshells and figure out what to try to say, right? So you could say to them, hey, I got triggered. I need some time. That to me is an emotionally safe person. Okay. And that's the container in which I am talking about. If the conversation is not with people who are emotionally safe, the process is going to be different. Okay. So, Yeah, I think that's what she was saying. The truth is, right? So, and how everybody's feelings around that. One, thanks, Jared. One is that, again, everybody's feelings are valid and make sense based on their programming. I use the word programming because it's like we're computers and all the information and influence, society, family, and all of that really programmed how we respond internally, externally, all of that. So I use that word programmed, okay? Um, so we're in a situation, okay? This, I'm gonna go right back to me and my friend. She asked me about my shirt and I felt disrespected, okay? She, depending on her own shit, right? This is why it's messy. Humans are messy. Her own shit can happen a few different ways, right? The truth is, she asked a question, where did you get your shirt? Let's say she was genuinely curious about the shirt. Now, I've said, hey, this hit me some type of way. Let me take a breather and let's continue this conversation later. One, depending on her own shit, she can immediately like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And turn it like, I didn't do anything wrong. You're over emotional. You're making a big deal out of something, nothing. You're being dramatic. This is crazy. That is a response, right? Because she was like, I literally just asked a question. What's happening to her feelings is maybe something like being misunderstood. I felt misunderstood. So on the flip side, the friend, let's just say she felt misunderstood. Okay. Her body, it hits her body from somewhere in her past where she was misunderstood and the friend left. Okay. So let's just stay with me. Let's just say Jennifer is my friend that asked about the shirt. Okay. Jennifer, when I communicated that, hey, I need to take a break. And even if I say like, can we continue this conversation? This is where, let me slow down. A lot of things happen all at once, very fast. Okay, so Jennifer can take it as being misunderstood. Wait, I need you to understand. I was just asking where you got your shirt, right? And in her past, when she was misunderstood, her friend never spoke to her again. So in Jennifer's body, the being misunderstood equals abandonment. So in this situation, Jennifer may do a couple of things, right? Depending on where she is in her healing journey and how strong her ability is to practice the pause and get curious about her own shit. Are you guys with me? Can I get a 1 in the chat? Okay. So now we have the fact, right, Carrie, about that there was a question about my shirt. But now we have the different feelings, which are different than the fact. This is why connections are really tough. Okay? Amber, if criticism feels like rejection, does that make rejection a fact? This is a really good question. So if criticism feels like rejection, does that make rejection a fact? And I would say no, because it feels, right? And I'm going to give a real life example. When my husband Chris and I first were like married, I would cook. Okay. And he loves cooking. He loves all of that, right? So what would happen is he would come in, he would try the food and be like, oh, rosemary would be really good in this. Next time we can try some more salt. Okay. That in my body feels like criticism. Like, fuck you. I just spent 2 hours making this meal. Or it could have been something like, you needed to add more salt or something. Okay. In my body, that feels like criticism. It's like, you didn't just be like, thanks for the meal. You had to tell me what I did wrong. Like, it's not good enough. Now, just because I felt like it was criticism doesn't necessarily, in his brain, he's like, oh, I was just trying to like offer some suggestions because I know that you really love cooking and you're learning and growing. Just because I gave that suggestion doesn't mean that I don't like your cooking or that it's not enough or not good enough. Does that make sense? And so sometimes people are criticizing you. Okay, sometimes people are being fuckwads. Like, it is the truth. But this gives us the space to actually see and understand what's happening. And the questions like, what did you mean by that? Did you mean that you didn't like my food? Right? So let's go back to the Jennifer shirt. Let's change the scenario. Okay, and say Jennifer was judging me. Okay, let's just flip the script and say Jennifer was being judgmental. Okay? Tara, same. Okay. This was a big thing for me, and I was like, you know what? Fuck, make your own dinner. Right? So, and there is a give and take and understanding one another, okay? It is not a blanket answer for everything. But the goal in this conversation is for us to start slowing down and seeing the moment for what it is instead of meshing everything together in the moment, okay? It's not about never getting triggered. It's not about making somebody understand everything about us. This conversation is about not abandoning yourself and slowing down so that you can begin to recognize your facts versus feelings in a situation. Okay? That's really what we're slowing down to talk about, right? So let's take it back. I know it is so confusing in the moment, right? Because it happened so fast too. It just happened so fast. Like in that situation, I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes the reaction of autopilot comes on depending on how tired I am and all this different stuff, right? Like if I've been cooking and then he's like, oh, this could have used some throw the rosemary at you. You're finishing it yourself, right? So it really just depends on I'm just being real life. Like it doesn't always happen that it beautifully respond. But it's about recognizing. Okay, so let's take it back to Jennifer in the shirt. Say Jennifer was being Lima, hello, welcome in. Nikki, welcome in. Say Jennifer was being a bit judgmental. Okay, let's just say she was. So Jennifer's like, where'd you get your shirt? See, that's how you can tell the way that I feel about something is the way that I repeat it back. Like in my mind, when Jennifer's being judgmental, it's like, where did you get your shirt? You know what I'm saying? And so I take a step back. I recognize first what's happening to me, right? Okay, my body, what's going on? What am I really feeling? I'm feeling that disrespect like we already went through. Now that I understand what's happening to me and I have separated, right? What meant, because I don't know, I didn't ask yet. I don't know what she meant by that. First, it's just me recognizing what's happening to me. Then I can go back and be like, hey, Jennifer, what did you mean by that question? And then she's like, well, it just looks really cheap. So I was just wondering if you got it from the Goodwill. Okay. Then I take a step back. Right? Because in that response, then I want to throw a chop. Like, right? Because then I am being judged. And it like, how do I want to respond? This isn't just about a previous feeling. This is somebody in the present judging my outfit, okay? But if I don't separate everything that's happening, I don't get to choose how I respond or react. And I always want to choose, okay? I want to choose how I respond versus react, okay? Then, if I'm feeling judged, and she told me she's like judging because of my outfit, my shirt, right? So, what does it mean when I'm feeling judged? I feel like, what is it? Why is it affecting me? And this is real life what happens to me. If somebody is judging me or I feel judged, then what happens is my confidence, it triggers something already I'm not confident about, okay? So if Jennifer's like, your shirt looks like it's from the Goodwill, I was just curious, how do I take that? I go back to my feelings. What am I associating with the Goodwill? What am I associating if she doesn't like it? Like, what is it? Why do I care what people think about my clothes? Okay, what am I attaching to that now? That maybe for me, it triggers like being made fun of in high school for my clothes because I wasn't one of the cool kids. I didn't have the money for all the clothes and the Nikes and the parkas, right? So immediately goes back to that for me and feeling like an outcast, not enough, right? So I'm recognizing that. Okay, are you guys with me? Are you still with me? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you're still with me on this journey? Okay. Okay, cool. So then I get to choose how I want to respond to Miss Jennifer. Okay? And honestly, it really doesn't matter why she said what she said. Okay? Because we could continue this conversation, meaning like, well, are you saying that you don't like that? Like, we could ask more questions if we wanted, right? For me, I would stop it here and be like, okay, I actually love the thrift store. And when somebody tells me that they purchased something from the thrift store and got it cheaper, I'm like, that makes your outfit more cute to me. Like, major kudos, high five, it's cute and it was cheaper, like win situation. That's for me, right? So I think about that and I'm like, wait, I love the thrift store, so maybe it's a compliment to me because I love that, right? So see how I could have taken it and reacted first, getting curious about what is actually good, like what am I feeling? And when people challenge me, it allows me to dig my roots deep down into what I think and feel and believe. If something triggers me, I'm not super confident in it. So then now I have the understanding where I actually don't give a fuck if it's from the thrift store. So if Jennifer thinks it's bad from the thrift store, then that's some shit she's got to deal with, right? So I can say, you know what? Yeah, it's from the thrift store. It was a great deal. I love it on me. But if we're not feeling confident about ourselves, if we're not feeling, we have to get curious about what all of those things mean for us before we can choose to respond. Because if not, we're going to react on what we are making all of that mean. Okay, does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that? Oh, good. I know it's almost over. We have the sacred middle. We're going to continue this and being able to really dive deep into those moments and recognizing them in the sacred middle. So if you want to hop over and purchase your seat for the sacred middle, we are going to talk about how to really see those moments and dive in deeper into your own life and how you can apply this. So we have 5 more minutes before we hop over to the sacred middle. So if you have questions, throw them in the chat. So when our body feels something, we make up the story of what that means before we even get curious. Okay, so we can practice this anytime that we get triggered. So we should have a little practice. Because I be getting triggered a lot. In all different kinds of areas, right? Cassie, welcome in. So it's actually just a reminder that triggers aren't bad. Triggers are information. Yes, and Lima, right, we don't make time for ourselves. So people who put for lack of better terms, people pleasers or people who overcompensate with it's really control, to be honest. And I'm guilty of this, so I'm not throwing shade. It is just a coping mechanism of how we have stayed safe and kept connections, is by overcompensating, abandoning ourselves to try to make other people okay. When we do that, then resentment comes in, right? So it's all about these moments of really recognizing when we abandon ourselves and closing that gap. Right? I used to think triggers were bad too. They're just information. In fact, they're really important information. They tell us that, hey, something is here, and to get curious. Caring for people makes me feel at home. Yeah, but comfortability is not the same as safe. Familiarity is not the same as safe. And we've talked about that. I think that we're talking in a few weeks about safe versus predictability. And being able to recognize that difference, right? And it is really tough when chaos and all of that we've equated unhealthy per se to safety. But the comfortability doesn't always equal safe. So feeling at home, people can associate to being comfortable, right? It feels familiar. And that is not always safe or what is best for us in those moments. Do you guys have any more questions before we shut it down? Learning to feel safe is hard. It's definitely time plus repair, right? People say time heal all wounds. Absolutely, it does not. It does not. Time plus repair equals healing wounds. Time plus repair. There's still some time for you guys to join the Sacred Middle for women who know everything that they're supposed, like, know all the things, know all the shit, but they're ready to start doing it, getting the results, right? Showing up in those moments sooner and sooner. Time plus tools plus repair. Yeah, I feel like the tools allow us to be able to repair, but yeah, however we want to say that. Triggers are not bad. They are not bad. They are information and actually extremely important. Just like, so I also teach nutrition, and when we talk about disease, right? When something shows up, a disease shows up, that is not bad. It is information to get to the root, right? It's saying, hey, this has been put off so long that it is deeper into your cells. It is an alarm that has been going off, and we just missed the first alarm systems. Okay, so a trigger, yes. We can nerd out on this all night. But triggers are alarm systems that, hey, pay attention. And in fact, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't probably ever be able to slow down and recognize those moments to have the choice to react versus respond. Okay? So facts versus feelings. Get curious. What the fuck is happening to me? What's happening to my body? What story? And I have videos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the stories that we live in, the stories that we make something mean, go check out my page. I got videos on stories. It's what we make meaning of. Okay? It's not necessarily always true. And in this, we're really beginning to slow down and recognize us. Also, you guys, all of these replays are on my YouTube channel. So go check them out if you want to. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. There's going to be no live next week, but we will be back on the 11th, and we are talking about when we try to repair too fast. Okay? When we try to repair too fast. Yes, thank you guys for being here. Remember, fuck perfect, and see you guys in the Sacred Middle. Bye! Press the wrong button.